What is up guys, Gabe here and welcome back to another video. So after my last few updates about editing, I received a lot of good remarks, a lot of encouragement from you guys telling me that I should continue to do this series, as well as a lot of comments on my Instagram saying or asking me to post another video, to make another edit tutorial, when am I going to upload another video. So here it is, this is it. We're about to get to it. So this time around, I decided to emulate the style of Do You Travel or Gypsy Lust, and if you don't know who any of these two people are, check them out on Instagram. This is what their work looks like. It's pretty great work. I enjoy looking at their photos. I enjoy the work that they put into it. So it was a no-brainer for me to select them as the next candidate for this series. So what I did to achieve this look was obviously start with a basic VSCO preset, tweak the heck out of it until I got quite close to a particular picture that they have posted on their Instagram, and that's how I base my edit. So without much more talking, let's jump right into Lightroom. Let's check this preset out and let's see what this edit is all about. Okay, so we are here in Lightroom and this is a picture that I took up from their Instagram that I thought we would edit together. Now, I was taking a look at all the basic things that are happening in this picture, like how the greens are reacting, what color are the blues, and most importantly, what the skin tone looks like. Now, they seem to be in an area that is not very well lit, so dealing with the skin tones is going to be a little bit of a challenge for this particular image and to emulate something that's close to what we're seeing here. Anyways, this is the picture that I decided to edit. This is already after the edit. This is, if we go to the develop module here, we can see how the picture started. And this is how the picture ended after I applied the preset. So use a reference photo, boom. So now that we have our reference set, we can go ahead and start looking at the key differences and similarities between both of these pictures. Okay, so let's take a look at what I did to the edit just to achieve this look. So white balance was to taste, as well as the pinks, just to get it very neutral and very similar to what you see that's going on here. Now highlights, I brought it down because as you can see here in their whites, they're not pure white. So that's what I did for my highlights over here. Shadows, I boosted them up just a little bit just so that I could see some detail in her hair, as well as some detail here on the leaves, as we see here on their picture as well. The whites and blacks, that I adjusted to taste, but this is what you're gonna get right out of the box if you decide to download this preset. Clarity, I took it down just a little bit because usually for photos that are reminiscent of film photography, which is a style that they like to incorporate into their edits, usually they're not as detailed and as sharp or anything like that. So usually what I do is that I take the clarity down by just a little bit just to give it that natural softness that you would see on a film photo. So over here in the tone curves is where what you would say like the magic happens for this particular photo. And the most important thing, as you can see, it was a straight line. The only thing that's happening here is that we're bringing up the shadow tone up until this level just to give you this kind of hazy grayish look in the darker areas of the photos, which is something that I noticed that they have here, which are the darkest parts of the photo, and some of it over here. Now perhaps I went a little bit too extreme with this, so if you put this on a particular photo and you don't like it, you can always bring this down and up to taste, just to, I mean, you can go super exaggerated, but that looks ugly. So you can bring it up and down at taste. I just found that for this particular emulation, I thought it would look good there, so I left it there. Color manipulation is something that's also very important when you're trying to emulate their style. Usually their yellows tend to be a little bit more orangey, and their greens tend to be very desaturated. They tend to have this deep green color and they're desaturated. They're not brown, but they are just lacking a certain tone to them. So that's what I did with these palm trees here. Now these are different leaves from different trees, so their color is obviously different, and if you live, let's say in the Pacific Northwest or something, and you're trying to use this preset, just be mindful that you're gonna have to play with these sliders gonna have to play with the green sliders as well as the yellow sliders that also affect, as you can see here, the greens, in order to get it to the point where it looks about right. So that's what I did for this particular image, and this preset is based on this particular image alone, and that's how I got it to look like so. Also important here are the blues. Now I saw here on their water that it was kind of like an aqua green, so that's what I tried to do with this pool right here. Now if we go to the before, it was a blue pool, and now after it's a teal colored pool, just to give you kind of like the same color that we're seeing over here. Now obviously the texture is different, the way that the light is bouncing from the waves is different, so it's not going to be exactly perfect, but we're getting close with that color. Also, this is a lake and this is a pool, so different water sources. There's a bunch of different factors from one picture to the other, but what we're trying to recreate in this project is just the overall general feel of the image. Split toning, not much done there, actually nothing at all. Sharpening, I just boosted it up a little bit because I was using my 50mm Canon 1.2. I shot it at 1.4, but still it's a little bit of a soft lens, at least my copy is. So I decided to just you know, give it a little bit of sharpness there, just to retain some detail here in her hair and, you know, the edges of the image. I did add a little bit of profile correction. Now when you get this preset, it's not going to come with any profile correction, so it's going to look more like this, and you can add your profile corrections according to the lens that you use in your camera. Going down the list here, grain, I did add grain. I see, and they do use this quite a bit in all their work. They add a lot of grain to their images, so I went ahead and added 46 and, you know, increase the size substantially quite a bit, and the roughness as well, to get you that, you know, color over here. Not color, I mean texture, I'm sorry. So lastly, the most important, or one of the most important things that we need to talk about before we wrap this up, is the skin tone. Now if we take a look at the before picture and the after, there seems to be some darkening and, you know, tanning, if you will, on her skin. Now she's not particularly a very white skinned person. She does have a little tan to her, but as you can see, the filter does amplify that a little bit more, just so you can get the perfectly tan skin that you see always on their pictures. So what I did here was I threw the orange more into the reddish hue over here by putting it at -5. The saturation, I left it intact because it wasn't really affecting much of my image, but I did take the luminance down. If I would have left this is at -19 right now. If I would have left this at 0, as you can see here, it doesn't look as tanned as it does when it comes back to -19. So that is where you're gonna get most of the coloring and most of the richness of the skin. It comes from the orange and red channels. For the red channels, I pushed it a little bit into the orange side. Again, I brought the saturation down and the luminance down just to keep, you know, that tan looking skin and make everything look good like that. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole basis of the preset. It's not very complicated. There's not much done to it, but there's not much done to their images anyways. If you see their images, they look very organic, they look very clean, and they look very pleasing. And that is what we went ahead and did in this preset. Now, if you want to see how this preset reacts in other images, we'll go ahead here. So in this image right here, let's go ahead and test it out. This is where the image started, and this is where the image ended after the preset. You see not much changes, but it just gives you that richness on the skin. It mutes those greens just nicely so that they're not overpowering your picture, and the white balance just stays very neutral and very balanced. And I really enjoy this look, and I hope you guys do too when you apply this preset to your pictures. Just be mindful that you may have to play with the white balance, the tints, and other colors that may be distracting in your image.
As I always say, presets are not one click and done. You have to tweak them. You have to spend the time to get them to where you want them to be. But this preset is very close to something that I could see myself finishing up with.
And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed that edit as much as I did making it. I'm gonna leave the download link to that preset below, so go ahead and check it out. But before you do, let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next video.